What's up, folks? Welcome back to Tactical Tortoise. My name is Trevi, and just a couple weeks ago, I told you about the Objective Control Kickstarter campaign. This is a Kickstarter campaign for a new series of clear plastic precision cut gaming accessories. They did things like objective markers for 40k and Age of Sigmar, as well as some area terrain templates and tokens. And I'm happy to announce that Kickstarter did successfully complete, and it is now available for late pledging. I'm going to put in some links in the video description and the pinned comment about it, and then talk a little bit more about Objective Control and what they're trying to bring to the tabletop gaming community, because the folks over at the Objective Control project were kind enough to send me a copy of their full set. So let's dive in, talk about them, and all the benefits that Objective Control can provide. Oh, yeah, let's go. So Neopren objective markers like this one, I love them very much. In fact, enough that I have a branded set. They aren't perfect, and they do have a lot of little issues. The first one is that they're physically very thick. So especially when it comes to minute precision, there are some neoprene markers that are physically large and can actually interfere with your movement of models. That's one of the reasons that objective control markers are so cool, because they are not physically very large. In fact, just like a millimeter thick. That's sick. In addition, you can see the terrain through the marker. So if you have a gorgeous mat like this one, it is not impeded by a big, thick, opaque objective piece that may or may not fit with the theme of your mat. If you have objective control, the mat is right there. The terrain is still visible through the marker. That's great. For those who don't know, an objective marker, like the ones that Objective Control has, or the neoprene ones that are very popular, has the 40mm objective marker printed on it, but then also provides the 3-inch aura around it that your models actually stand on to control the objective. This gives you a much cleaner picture of exactly who is or is not in range of controlling that objective marker. So if you've ever seen these on the table before, it isn't an objective marker, physical objective marker that's very big. It's just showing you the distance away from the objective marker that you need to actually be considered controlling it or contesting it. These improve the cleanliness of your play immensely, because there's no argument over which of your models is or is not within 3 inches of the objective marker. Now, objective markers are one thing. You might all have objective markers that you already know and love and don't want to get rid of. As good as these ones are, you might already have them, but the one thing that I really appreciate about this Kickstarter are the area terrain features. These are sized for the Leviathan terrain sets in the Leviathan Tournament Companion, and they're made of the same material that the objective markers you can see here are. The big benefit of this, obviously, is that you can define the area of area terrain, again, without being too obtrusive. And I think especially for events and event organizers, this is a big game changer, because you don't have to store a bunch of acrylic or MDF bases that take up a lot of physical space and end up being physically very heavy. Instead, all you need are these pieces of plastic that are about as thick as a sheet of paper. So it's easy to furnish an entire event's worth of terrain without actually having to lug all that stuff around.
It's like, these are sized to go together. I'm gonna be honest, these like fit perfectly.
Honestly, anything that makes these terrain layouts more accessible for every player of Warhammer 40k is just gonna improve the normal gameplay of the game and the level of practice the players are able to get before events. And that is rad. And that's one of the reasons that I really appreciate Objective Control and what they're trying to do here. One thing that I was worried about is the relative stickiness of the objectives. One of the benefits of neoprene is that it basically doesn't move at all when you slide it. And I was a little bit worried about the Objective Control markers and their ability to shift. And I'm not going to say that they are more stable than the neoprene markers, because that's definitely not true. That's one of the benefits of neoprene, for sure, is that they stick around a little bit better. But I was surprised at the level of resilience that Objective Control has when it comes to sitting on the table. As you can see, the neoprene markers, because of their vinyl rubber backing, they're actually very difficult to move. But these are actually a little bit tougher than I anticipated, being just a flat plastic, because they do have a level of friction with the table. So as you start to shift them around, obviously it is possible to push them, but they don't move quite as easily as you would expect. I definitely expected these guys to be shifting around anytime a model moved near them. That's definitely not the case. They're definitely more stable than I anticipated. Now, last but certainly not least, the last thing that the Kickstarter made available to players are token sets that are themed to individual factions. These are something that 40K does not do enough of. They have little pieces of artwork, especially for the Battlestar tokens, that are themed to whichever army that you're playing, with adorable little illustrations of the men and monsters from your faction. That's rad. They also have deployment zone markers available as well. Just super sweet. Tokens are not something that the 40K community has quite adopted yet, but it is very impactful, especially with 10th edition being so ability focused. And we have things like special either core rule of weapon abilities that can be applied to models that are represented in their tokens, but also unique faction abilities as well. Those are super good. They are not obtrusive because, again, it's the clear material so you can see the battlefield and you can see the models through them. You're not pulling yourself out by putting enormous magic cards or something like that on the table. Sometimes they're hard to fit in a tight area where you have a lot of models around, but also it just kind of pulls you out of it a little bit because you're putting a big card or something next to your model. And you don't have to worry about those with these tokens, and it's super sweet. So that's my review of Objective Control and their new set of clear plastic accessories for Warhammer 40K. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about them, and huge thanks to Objective Control for sending that set over to me to take a look at. Again, I'll put a link in the video description and in the pinned comment where you can take a look at all the information on their Kickstarter and join in as a late pledge so you can still get access to all of these super cool accessories. Thanks as well to GameMat.eu for providing the mats and terrain that I used as examples. You can use coupon code TT10 over there to get 10% off if you so desire. And with that, that'll be it for me today. Thanks everyone for watching all the way to the end of the video. Thanks as well to everybody who supports the channel either over on Patreon at patreon.com/TacticalTortoise, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subscribers. All you people are great and I love you. Remember to keep it classy, folks, and have happy wargaming.
Plastic pull ASMR.
Oh, yes! It's so good!